Ladies and gentlemen, here we go into game number 1 between MTW Dimaga and Liquid TLO. This is the first game of a best-of-3 series on Antiga Shipyard, and I am joined alongside by my good old friend Total Biscuit. Total Biscuit, how you doing, man?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. It's great to see these guys clash again. I've seen them go at it a number of times, in fact, and the result is always up in the air. I'm not even sure if they're almost 50-50 against each other, but they're pretty damn good nonetheless when it comes to beating each other into the ground. So I expect to see plenty of that this time around.
Definitely, and it's so cool because both of these players have such different styles. When you see them play, TLO, definitely the innovator, does some quirky things in his builds, whereas Dimaga, he's just that all-around robust player. He'll punish you a lot of times, but he is just go to the macro game and outplay my opponent with purely great decision making. I can't wait to see these players go at it today.
Yeah, absolutely. Dimaga's an interesting one because he does kind of play a passive macro game, as you said before. Early on in the game, he tends not to get all that aggressive, but he is also known for high queen usage, which makes things interesting, as you're getting a lot of lava in Jace, you're getting a lot of creep spread as well. So when his attack finally comes, he's got an exceptional amount of mobility. One way or the other, we've got Dimaga right here from the team NTW Mind Factory. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Zerg to the west of the Antiga Shipyard versus opponent from the one and only Team Liquid, the one and only TLO, of course. Is there anyone else like him? I think not. He's in the yellow trunks, and he is playing Terran to the east.
Now, this is a very interesting map for Terran versus Zerg. It's very easy for you to get your expansions. The natural is very close to your main, along with the third. There's a very easy natural progression. However, the fourth base isn't so great. A lot of people would say, okay, just take your gold expansion, but it can be sieged from this top higher ground with ranged units, whether it be roaches, whether it be broodlords, whether it be siege tanks or marines. So, that being said, if you want to take a fourth, it's so far away. A lot of times we see on this map 3 base builds. So they do a lot of high pressure. They cut SCVs very early, somewhere around 60 or 70, knowing that they won't get a fourth expansion, and just play very, very intense in that center, trying to take that center control.
Yeah, the middle control here is quite important, but as you said, it is difficult to take. You'll often find Terran going for it with a planetary fortress, then taking the middle Zelnaga watchtower, deploying siege tanks in a defensive formation, but that's often where most of the intense battles really end up happening, because you can't let a Terran take the gold on this map. It's far too easy to mine it out very rapidly with the support of 3 orbital commands, which he will usually have at that point, having already taken his third. Usually doesn't take a planetary fortress on the third. 3 orbital commands, that's a lot of mules, a lot of money coming in. You can mine it out really fast. So we'll see what Dimaga decides to do here if TLO goes for that. But TLO hasn't really been playing these big macro games all that much recently. He's got some weird timings for pressure that he's been trying out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We'll see if he can pull it off this time around. He's had this interesting opening, which is involved going for a 1 barracks, 2 Marine, 1 Marauder, 1 Reaper, and then into a 4-axe Marauder build. But it really depends on who he's going up against. Sometimes he goes for that, sometimes he doesn't. At this point, he's just going to go with the 1 barracks into the factory. An interesting factory placement right here.
It's cutting right into the command center placement. And I don't know, that supply depot might even cut into the command center placement. It's very hard to tell. But TLO, I don't know exactly what he's doing. He has cut gas, so he's not getting gas anymore. That means he's not going to tech any further. And look at this. TLO is coming out here with this 1 SCV, and he's like, oh crap. I built this in an area where I can't actually have my command center.
Yeah, that's interesting. That said, it's not really too big a deal. He can obviously just bump this forward immediately, and there you go. That's where he's reconstructing it. I assume the supply depot is in a good position. I mean, what it does create is an extremely powerful wall-off right here. You can see he's even reinforcing this area in the middle, which was potentially vulnerable to attack, and that's going to protect him against any kind of early aggression. That said, Dimaga's not exactly known for that. He is going for the Roach Warren nice and early, though. I think he's expecting some kind of Hellion play.
Yeah, Hellions are so popular on every single map, and a lot of different players have different styles of defending it. Dimaga is choosing to do roaches. We've seen something like zerglings, just mass zerglings and things like that. But it's interesting that Dimaga hasn't stopped mining gas. And why that's interesting, it insinuates that he probably will be following this up with something very, very massive. We can already see 6 roaches out in the field. A lot of times you just stop at 4.
Whoa.
He might be trying to put on the aggression right now as he takes out the first Hellion.
TLO with a double starport right here. That's intriguing, considering he did stop mining gas for a while and then goes straight into double starport, possibly a reactionary play, I would have to say, on the basis that he wasn't mining gas at that point. But a double Banshee play from this point could be extremely difficult to deal with. Dimaga's got a Overlord right here in the southeast corner of TLO's base, but honestly, I don't know if it's going to get there. Even if he sacks it, and that really isn't necessarily the timing you'd want to go for that, even if he sacrifices that, then I don't know. Maybe he'll decide to send it in on the back of this 6 Roach push right here. And the thing is, these Roaches really can't break this. No. There's not all that many weak points here. They can maybe try and snipe at the supply depots. That's probably what they're going to try and do. Try and break it through there. Some fire coming in right there from the bunker. A lot of SCVs being pulled in order to keep this going, but he's losing a couple in the process. The thing is, there should be enough firepower to hold this, I would think. It's a slow kill, but he's got the Marauder out now, and he's able to push that away quite easily.
Yep, a good defense coming in from TLO, but, you know, he did lose some SCVs in that. Let's go ahead and check a total of 5 SCVs, and finally he's going to move his command center up into that position. It just snugly fits into that little crevice, and as you said, the double starport Banshees are being produced right now. There is an evolution chamber out for Dimaga, so he can get those spore crawlers up and running so that he can defend against this accurately.
Yeah, he's going to have to see it coming, however. It really depends on what direction TLO decides to go for. If he's going to go with simply the 2 Banshees, he's actually going with the 2 Banshee and Raven play. And TLO has been using more air. I've actually been watching his stream, and you're seeing a lot of this mid-game air play from him, including Ravens. Ravens obviously did get that Seeker missile buff, so they're a little bit more popular now, and they're becoming a bit more important in the metagame. The question is, will this get spotted? I don't think it's going to. Roach is holding the middle. This is nice path thing right here from TLO. He's able to avoid that. He's going to go and scout the 3rd, and he's going to be able to harass it as well. I would say that 3rd is down, honestly. I'm looking at the queen count from Dimaga, and it is uncharacteristically low.
Oh, wow, and 14 Roaches are popping out, so Dimaga will be undefended against this upcoming pressure. We can see that he just starts on the hatchery. It's very intelligent for him not to cancel it until the very last second, because right now he should be producing queens and spore crawlers all around this base. Not yet producing squirrel crawlers. There they go down. But, you know, the more and more he just has these Banshees on this one hatchery that will eventually be canceled, the more and more time he has to defend against this accurately.
Yep, no real doubt about that. There goes the drone. There's the cancellation on that as well. Raven now currently out for TLO as well. Obviously, that allows him to stop a lot of creep spread, which I imagine he thinks, oh, Dimaga is known for this. He's played against Dimaga an awful lot. What I'm concerned about is this big Roach Wrecking Ball right here, 22 of them coming in. The defenses are not exactly what I'd call strong. We need that Banshee there, and it's not there, and immediately that bunker annihilated with so much Roach pressure. We do have those Banshees working on Dimaga's base in the meantime, but the defenses are nowhere near enough to hold this, and TLO's getting breached.
Yeah, both of these players are going to a base trade, and oh man, TLO is late to actually start the 2 Banshees in the starport, so he won't be able to defend this too accurately. There's one Thor that pops out. It will be targeted down immediately. But meanwhile, the PDD and Banshee work is just destroying Dimaga's base. He might be able to take out these spore crawlers. It's really tough to say. One Banshee goes down, and this is a very precarious situation for TLO.
Yeah, it's a little bit messy. The Hydra Den is on its way right here for Dimaga. I think once the Hydras go up, that really is it. There's nothing to stop these Roaches. He's trying to get a Banshee up, but that hasn't happened. GG, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's how you do it. Starting off the game the series rather, very nice. TLO loses out with his Banshee play. You know, I think Total Biscuit, what it came down to was the fact that he did not have any form of map awareness. A lot of times when you go something like air, you need to take those Xel'Naga towers. You have the ability to very easy. Just go over the Xel'Naga towers, clear it out with those Banshees, and then put something there, whether it be an SCV, Marine, whatever it might be. But you always have to watch those counterattacks. Obviously, TLO was completely blind to that, and he got punished for it.
Yeah, it was weird because, as far as I'm concerned, that was a bit of a build order loss for TLO. If you noted the scouting information available for both sides, it wasn't really all that high. The double Banshee play was not scouted by Dimaga. However, you've got to look at what TLO knew, which was not really a huge amount. He was
Yeah.
aware of the 6 roach push initially, and he was aware of the natural going down, and that was really about it. He assumed there was a third. He was, of course, correct, and that's about the standard timing for Zerg to put down a third, so nothing really unusual there. But then again, after that, he just throws the Air Force at it. Dimaga's building roaches. He's also blindly attacking, and it just came down to one build order beating the other.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a case of strategy as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of weird. I don't know exactly how Dimaga actually read to do that counter push with the mass of roaches. It was definitely kind of an awkward style to say, oh, this is how I'm going to punish you, because obviously roaches cannot attack the air, so Banshees have complete dominance. If TL actually played a more defensive game, and of course Dimaga went in for the push, his roaches would have been destroyed so fast, especially with double starport production. So just a very, very questionable first game, I would say, from these two players to begin with. We're going to go into game number 2 and see if TL can come back into this join us. We'll be back after this break.